What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to My Social Life. This is the podcast where we teach you how to grow on social media by talking to the people that have actually done it. And my guest today is Fitch, but Fitch is better known as the Architxct on Instagram. And he is a fashion and portrait photographer, and he's a really good photographer, guys. He's sitting at over 18.7 thousand Instagram followers. And this episode, I was so excited to record because I've been following the Architxct on Instagram prior to even starting the podcast. Like I said, guys, he's a really good photographer, and he's one that caught my eye. So when he said he'd come on the podcast, I was super excited. And in this episode, we're going to talk about how he grew his Instagram, how he's worked with big YouTubers like Joey Kidney and Elle Mills. We're even going to get into a little bit of buying likes for photos, which is something that I was completely non-prepared for. Fitch brought it up on his own, and to his credit, I want to give him a shout out for that because a lot of people don't like to talk about that, but he was completely open and transparent about it. He's the first person on the podcast that has been. I'm not accusing anybody that's been on the podcast this far of buying buying likes, but he was open and transparent about the fact that he's bought likes, but he talks about how it was a waste of time and a waste of money and he shouldn't have done it, because we're going to talk about what he would do today if he woke up with 0 followers and 0 photos, how he would start to grow his Instagram. So we're going to look at how he grew it until this point and what he would do if he were trying to grow it again starting today. And one other thing I want to call out before we jump right into this episode is I had a mic malfunction during this recording. I didn't know that I was having a mic malfunction when I was recording. Unfortunately as well, it wasn't my mic, it was the Architxct's mic. I have done as much as I possibly can to restore his audio. Like I said, guys, I was so excited to record this episode, and when I listened back to it and I knew instantly that there was something wrong with his mic, I was absolutely heartbroken, guys. I just want to apologize to you because this audio isn't going to be up to the quality I like to have it to, and I also want to apologize to Fitch because he took the time to drive all the way to my apartment and record this episode for an hour and a half, and then I had a problem with the mic. Like I said, I've done a lot to the audio. I've got it back like unrecognizable from where I started it. Like, I'm pretty proud of myself for the quality it's at that you're about to hear it at, but it's still not perfect. And like I said, I apologize. It's still a really good episode, guys. Fitch says a lot of really good and really important things. And for me, please just ignore the audio issues and listen to what he's saying, guys, because it's really good. I was really excited for this episode until I realized that I'd screwed up the audio. Basically what it does is his mic was drastically quieter than mine, and it spiked randomly, so he'll get loud and then he'll get quiet. So I did my best to normalize it so it's even throughout, but you will notice there is times where his mic will get quieter than it is during. And like I said, I'm aware. I'm currently working on fixing this issue. I'm trying to figure out exactly what went wrong so I can fix it so we don't have it in the future. But like I said, guys, please just push through the audio issues. It's probably not as bad as I'm hyping it up to be. Like, I've been kind of in it for the last couple days trying to fix it. So please enjoy this episode with the Architxct. And if you are listening, be sure to screenshot this and post it to your Instagram story and tag at MySocialPod, and I will share it to our Instagram story. I just love to see who's listening to this podcast. It's community we're growing here, guys. So make sure you do that. And now please enjoy this episode with Fitch, the Architxct. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to My Social Life. This is the podcast where we teach you how to grow on social media by talking to the people that have actually done it. My guest today is Fitch, but he's better known as the Architxct on all social media platforms, man. Thank you for coming on the show, and why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
I'm a photographer, videographer, and creative director based in Ottawa. I've started I'd say about 3-4 years ago, but I've only gotten serious about it about 2 years ago. I'm in school actually right now. I go to the University of Ottawa in Communications and Media. I think it's related to what I'm doing. Honestly, I just want to graduate. I just want to have my degree to just have it with me. But what I want to pursue is mostly like the media field, right? I wasn't born here. I was born in Haiti. I came to Canada when I was about 4. I was in Montreal for about 10 years, and I moved to Ottawa in 2010, I think, or 2009, around that. And I've been here since then.
Okay. So one of the first thing I want to talk about is, so why the name The Architxct? Where did that come from?
All right. So I remember when I started taking photos, I wanted to have my own like photography account, and at the point I had already had an Instagram, but it was like my personal Instagram, right? I at first I wanted to have a different name because I didn't want people to know it was me. For mysterious reason, but also in a way that like I wanted to associate my personal self with the photographer. So at first that was the reason why I did that. And there was a couple of reasons. The first is that there was this page that I used to follow on Instagram that used to these photos, and they were called Visual Architects. And I used to look at their stuff, and it was really, really nice, you know. And then from there, I took the name The Architxct. I looked for The Architxct, but it was already taken, so I had to play around a bit. So I put the X there just to make it happen. And that's how it happened.
Yeah, I want to, because you talked about saying that it's like you wanted to be a little mysterious. I definitely think that worked, because when I kind of first found your profile, it was a while ago, and I was just like, who is this guy? Like, it just says The Architxct, and I think your picture at the time is where you had the hat on and just like the big glasses, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, it was just very like, I think mysterious is like bang on. Like, that's a good.
I know, definitely, because like I remember I went to a couple small fashion. Some fashion shows and stuff like that in the city, and we're like there's the whole like Instagram community that was there, you know, and all that, and like I'd walk by people, and then like I had the hat, and people were like, wait, you're The Architxct? And I was like, yeah, that's me, you know. But like it's weird because like sometimes like I'd have a conversation with someone, and then they wouldn't know wouldn't know at all who it was, and then someone would come back and be like, hey, do you know this? That's The Architxct. I was like, oh my god, I follow you, and this whole time we had a conversation and just didn't know. So I also like that as well.
Yeah, you like kind of being like anonymous almost with.
Yeah. Lately, I've been more out there, like showing my face and all that, but like at first it was really like nowhere to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you talked about starting photography about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So why did you kind of get into photography in the first place?
So I remember it was in the summer between grade 12 and my first year at university. I was at this foreign job doing some like door-to-door marketing. I really hated it. And then I was there with my friend, and then I remember this one day we had work, and then he had brought his camera from home, and then I used to like always dress like really nice when I used to go to work, like in my suit and everything. And then this one day we're like, you know what, let's just skip work. And then we just like went around downtown and just took some pictures of each other, and then we did that the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, and I just started liking it. And every day I just be wearing a different suit, and he'd be wearing a different outfit, and would just go outside and explore, you know. And then around that same summer, Kerbins moved to Canada because that's where I live.
Okay.
And then I already knew Kerbins, and then I told him one day, hey, let's just hang out and take some photos. And then he came along as well. And then around the end of the summer, I started school, and then I had some money left from my school loan, and then I just got a camera with that, and then from there I just started taking more pictures.
Do you remember what your first camera was?
Oh yes, it was a Nikon D3000. Yeah, it was really, really old. Like there was no live view. Like you could just take the picture and then you would see it, but you wouldn't be able to like see anything before that. You couldn't take videos. Like it was horrible in no lights. Like it was just the worst. But like it was good for me because I was able to learn a lot from that camera. You know, like I think I used it to its like fullest potential. Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. And so then it was, so you just, when you started photography, was this kind of for fun, more or less?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I wasn't really like, I think I'd say I was an artistic person, but like in my head, art was never a way that you could make money or like you could build a career from, you know? My dad, who was an accountant, had really like an analytical mind and everything, and his view and vision of everything was like, you go to school, you get your degree, and then whatever it is, you just make money into that, right? And because of that, I went to business school, and that's why I started when I was at university. So in my head, photography was just to, like as a hobby. I actually wanted to become a corporate lawyer. So I was going to do 4 years in business school and then go to law school somewhere else. So that was the vision I had for myself. Obviously now it's different, but at first I never felt like photography was going to be like something I wanted to do as a career. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it was about 2 years ago you kind of switched and you started to take it a little bit more seriously.
Well, I think the switch was kind of slow. It wasn't okay, now I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. So during the first year, I was just taking photos for fun and everything, taking photos with friends and all that. And then I started figuring out the path that I could take to become an actually a photographer that could self-sustain himself, right? And I met a lot of other photographers in the community that were doing that full time and all that. And I started I think the seed was planted in my mind. And then as the year progressed, I started to kind of care less and less about what I was doing in school, and then it was also reflected in my grades because my grades weren't going so well. And then I started realizing maybe this wasn't what I liked. I think at first I wanted to go into law because it was lucrative, there was a lot of money into it, and I could just make some good money after that, but not really because I liked it. And I think that's where the problem happened. Is I realized that if I don't like something, I'm not going to do it well. And also realized I really like photography. So I started getting also a lot of traction on my Instagram. People started following me and all that, and I started getting emails from small brands sending me free shirts and all that to shoot, and I was okay, there's something there, so slowly I started charging for photo shoots, and then I shot with bigger brands that would start paying me as well. So I'm okay, maybe I can actually start pursuing that. So I think it was gradually that it just happened.
Yeah. Do you remember what that first paid gig was?
Yes. Honestly, I don't even think I should have been paid for that. So I remember I was with Gervins actually, and then there's this girl that messaged us on Facebook, and she was yeah, I just want some photos done. And I was okay, yeah, cool, okay. And I'm you know what? That's gonna be the first client I'm gonna charge. So I told her my price, and she was okay, that's cool, I'll do that. And then I feel the whole shoot was not professional at all. I feel the photos weren't as good, and then I feel as a whole, I kind of wasted her time, and I almost felt bad for taking that money, but it also taught me a lot, but yeah. I think it was $25, but
okay, yeah, that's fair. So how many gigs, if you were to estimate, how many do you think you've done to date now?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
because just in the last month I probably did like 12,
Okay.
So it's probably maybe in the hundreds.
Yeah. So what would your advice be to beginner photographers that are looking to try to land their first gig?
I think you have to know yourself and know your worth, right? When it comes to setting a price point, you have to see who's out there, how they're doing, how much they charge, how well they've done, and then look at you and be able to self-critique yourself. Be okay, that's where I'm at, and that's how much I should charge. Sometimes that's going to be lower than other people, but sometimes you're gonna realize that okay, I've been doing this for this long, then I should charge this, And I think it's also about who your clients are going to be. Sometimes there's a lot of people that are gonna message you, but they're not really serious about this, you know. So you gotta know who to deal with when it comes to clientele, you know. So for example, me, I usually like at first I'd shoot with a lot of like individuals, you know, like people hitting me up from Instagram to shoot, you know. But I realized that like most of these people, like they're kind of like me, you know. Like I'm thinking, you know, like it's still a lot of money for them, you know. So that's where I started thinking like, okay, who would pay me more money? Who has the money? And I'm like, okay, businesses, you know, because businesses make more money, and then that the photos they're getting, they're using that to make even more money. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should go talk to businesses instead of just like regular people, you know. So it's a lot about figuring it out, you know, figuring out where you stand, what you're good at, and then how to use that to make the money.
Mm-hmm. And how do you approach those businesses when you made that switch? Like, do you just kind of go into the place of business and talk to the manager or something? Or
well, at first, what I did is that I had 2-3 friends that were already business owners, so I collaborated with them. You know, some of them were like brand clothing lines, and then I just come to the store, grab a bunch of clothing, shoot it with like different models, and then I send that to them. They can use it, and then I use the rest so I can pitch to other businesses.
Okay.
So yeah.
I kind of want to just circle back to that first gig. You said you charged like $25. How'd you kind of come to that dollar valuation?
Honestly, I was like, okay, it's gonna cost me like $10 of gas to get there and go to the shoot, and I'm like, I need some money to eat. So I'm like, okay, it's probably gonna be like 10-15. I'm like, okay, well, let's say 25. You know, there was nothing like mathematical about it. It was just like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. So you said you've worked with like probably hundreds of shoots at this point now. Are there any ones that stick out as like really awesome shoots that you've done?
I mean, the biggest brand I'd say I've shot with happened, I think, late summer this year. I had a shoot for Mercedes, and I think just like I feel like that point was like a big point for me because I'd never shot with a brand this big, and like the whole like professionalism and all that, and it was just different, you know. Like I really felt like I was in another sphere when I was shooting with these people. So yeah,
that's the one that really stands out.
Yeah,
and that was just this past summer.
Yes, I did it this summer.
And were you not allowed to post any photos from that shoot on your Instagram?
So no, because I think they have an opening in December, and then I just literally just send this stuff off to them, and then they'll do what they do with it. Yeah.
That's fair. But did they allow you to post on your Instagram if you wanted to, or because it's like a paid shoot, you don't really?
I honestly don't know. But the thing about me is that like there's a lot of like of my photos that people don't see on my Instagram that I not because I'm not allowed to, but because I just don't post. I don't because I think I market myself on Instagram in a different way than just in general photography. Because when it comes to photography in general, I do a lot of everything, right? Mm-hmm. But my Instagram itself, is more like fashion and portraiture centered, right? And that's what I market myself as on Instagram, you know. But when it comes to like my business, I just do a lot of different things. I do weddings, I do commercial photography, I do product photography, you know, but I don't necessarily market that on my Instagram, you know?
Yeah. So when businesses contact you, like when they reach out to you before you talk to them, do they come to you because they've seen your Instagram, or is there another way that they're finding you?
Some of them message me from Instagram. Some of them email me from my website. But from the ones that emailed me from my website, I couldn't say that like they came from Instagram first and then went to my website. And then some of them text me through other businesses or people that I've worked with that refer them to me, you know? So I think it's a whole like amalgamation of all of that.
Yeah. And then with the one final thing with work is, where do you land on doing work for free?
So I've done, and I still do some work for free, but they're more like collaborative works that I do. And then like I'm pretty specific when it comes to like free work. For example, when I need to do my own creative shots, my own creative photo shoots that I want to do for myself, that I have like ideas in mind and stuff like that, like I'll go and reach out to a model, and obviously I won't charge them for that because I need them for that shoot. So it makes sense that like they don't pay it, right? And usually I use those for my Instagram, or like to send to brands or to magazines. I also do collaborative work with like bigger influencers. I did that a lot at the beginning to grow my Instagram. I'd shoot with like YouTubers or like just big Instagram people so that they could post the stuff and then I can grow on my account, you know. I don't do it as much, but I still do it if it's really worth it. You know, I see the numbers and I see how much I could grow, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, you know. Or even like a bigger brand, let's say like right now, I don't know, like Adidas messaged me and like, hey, you know, we're sending you shoes, do you want to shoot them? And like no money for it. I'm like, yeah, for sure I'd do it because it's Adidas. You know, you have to be able to understand where you want to be able to be like, okay, I'll do it for free, you know, but at the same time, you don't want to like just like feel like let's say that taken advantage of, you know, like you have to know where, okay, this is a good opportunity, then I'll do that for free, and then someone else is just trying to rip me off, you know. So you gotta know where to stand on that.
Yeah. So how would you, because you do all kinds of different kinds of photography. Like I looked at your website and I kind of wrote down the main, like the styles that you offer. You had portrait, fashion, event, editorial, commercial, and weddings. Mm-hmm. So how would you describe your photography style, and does it differ depending on the style that you're shooting?
I think depending on the style that I'm shooting, there are some things that are different, but I think that like I also have my signature to it. That like people could be like, okay, I know that was shot by the Architxct, you know, even though it's like a portrait and then the other one is a wedding, you know. So obviously, when it comes to like events, it's really fast paced, and then like you don't have the time to like really stop and like check all your settings and all that. So because of that, like it's different when it comes to these. You have to attack them differently when it comes to like your mindset. So you're not always going to get the perfect shot because like it's just like it's moving like all the time. You know, for example, when I'm shooting a concert or like when I'm shooting a wedding, it's because like you can't recreate the moment. The moment's just happening right now. You just have to shoot. You know, while when I'm doing a fashion shoot, I'm in control. I decide how I'm placing the model, everything, and I can take my time to get the right shot. You know, but when it comes to like similarities, then I try to like have my own style signature on all of them, right?
That makes sense. So with shooting all the different kinds, what was the thought process behind having so many offerings as opposed to kind of specializing in one or two?
Well, the thing is, I consider myself more of a like fashion photographer, but the thing is that like the market here in Ottawa for fashion is like basically dead. You know, so you have to adapt, right? If you want to be able to self-sustain yourself, you have to adapt. And because Ottawa is more of a commercial, family-friendly city, then I have to adapt in that sense. So I offer a different type of photography, but like not to say that like I wouldn't want to specialize, but like it's just that like how it is right now, I have to be able to diversify myself. But eventually, I want to be like fashion photographer at heart, you know, like I want to be able to shoot for these big brands like Adidas, GQ, like Vogue, you know, that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with photography, I know you talked about that you're going to school right now, but is outside of school, is photography your full-time job, or do you have other jobs on the side as well?
So I used to have jobs. I worked at McDonald's. I worked at Walmart, the portrait studio in the Walmart where they take the passport photos. And I also worked at a call center until last summer, actually. And then I took a decision where I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not getting a job. So I'm going to do photography. That's what's going to make me live. And then I'm going to go to school, and then that's it. Like, yeah. Sometimes it's tough, but like at the same time, I like it because I'm in control. You know, I make my own schedule, and I actually have more time to do other stuff as well. And I also like what I do. So yeah.
That's awesome. So there's a quote that you have on your Instagram bio that I kind of wanted to read. It was, every artist was first an amateur. And I know that's a pretty literal sentence, but what does that mean to you? Like, why, what of significance does that have to you that you put it in your bio?
Because it makes me like go forward and push, because I'm like, when I think about it, you know, like every person that is iconic right now, they started somewhere, right? They all started like at their house, like for like someone that's like a rapper, like Kanye West, started at their house, you know, writing music lyrics, you know, getting into the studio, working, but they were all at a point amateurs, they were all at a point beginners, you know? So it means that like anything is possible for you as long as you have the will, as long as you really want it, you're going to get there, you know, because if they got there and they started there as well, then you can follow the same path, you know? So whatever dream you have, whatever goal you have, just go for it because it's possible. That's what that means.
I like that, man. I really like that. That's awesome. But speaking of Instagram, so you're sitting at, I think, 18.7 thousand followers, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So I know, what would you say is the purpose to your Instagram? Because is it just kind of to express yourself creatively and also to showcase your talents, or how would you describe the purpose behind it?
So I'd say to express myself, to inspire other people that want to do photography or any type of art, but also, and from a marketing standpoint, to market myself as a photographer, reach out to brands if they see me and all that, you know, to be able to get those maybe international brands that wouldn't see me otherwise, you know. So I think it's just all that combined.
Yeah. Is there an aesthetic that you're kind of going for with your page?
I mean, I like shooting people, so I think that's what is at the center of my photography, and obviously fashion, using natural light, outdoor most times. I also do studio shoots, but I mostly like the outdoor, no light, just me, camera, and the model. So I'd say a lot of that. I also like movement as well. I like low angles as well. I do a lot of that, and but I feel like I also have like phases when it comes to photography. Like I have my phases where I like having wide angle and like everything just like that, but also have my phases where I like having portrait and like close-ups, or like, for example, like even in the editing style, sometimes like I used to really like bright and like really like saturated colors and like really warm colors, and then now maybe it's a bit more moody, or like it's just less saturated, you know. So I think like I have different phases when it comes to that as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you think having different phases affects growth? Because I feel like some people say that when you want to grow on Instagram, you have to be putting out the exact same kind of content, be consistent with it. But do you think being able to alter your content has helped you grow, or has it like negatively affected it?
It does affect growth, but I think at the end of the day, it depends on like what do you want to do, you know. Like if you want to please your audience, then yeah, I'd say, you know, definitely just stay at that in that one way, you know. But if you want to do what you like and show people what you like, what you love, and just no matter what happens, then just do what you want to do, you know. And I think that like I'm somewhere in between there, because like I still want to grow a bit, but at the same time I just want to post what I want to post and post when I want to, because that's another thing. Because I used to, I don't think I'm like growing my account as much as I used to, but when I used to do that, I used to basically post every day. And now I just post when I think I have a good picture to post, you know. That helps with my quality, and also I think it also helps a bit with my engagement, because then like when I post something, then people are more excited about it. But I don't grow as much as I used to because of that. But for me, it's because it's not that big of a deal anymore, you know. Before I'd post every day, I'd like thousands of pics every day. I'd be on I was on Instagram like 24/7, you know. But I've slowed down a bit with that, and just like posting when I can, when I want to, replying to some comments and all that.
So when you started kind of really going all on Instagram, was that around the same time, around that 2 years ago, when you were slowly becoming more into photography as like a profession, or when did you start your photography page and kind of grow it?
So when I started my photography, it was kind of growing. And then I think I got more serious about photography when I realized how much I was growing. And I was like, okay, like I'm growing, I'm getting more followers. And I'm like, okay, so maybe if people think I'm good, then I am actually good, and I should start like getting more serious about this, you know? So like I think the growth actually helped me pursue photography more. Yeah, because like I think I reached 10K in 2016, and then I was like, wow, like I'm already at 10,000, and at the time there wasn't a lot of people that were at 10,000, and I was like, okay, that's a lot, and like people like my stuff, that means I'm good at it, so I should pursue this.
Mm-hmm. So back when you were growing, like more so, like what were you doing and why were you doing it? I know you kind of talked about liking a lot of photos. So what was kind of the intention behind liking all those photos?
So I used to watch videos about like Instagram growth and all that on YouTube, and like people saying like, okay, if you like a lot of photos, people will see you. You will get more engagement. People will follow you. So I would like a lot of photos from like different photographers' pages. I would comment a lot on different photos and all that, just so that just like my name would be out there. People would see it and they'd go to my page, you know. So I did a lot of that using hashtags to draw more stuff as well, and also tagging feature pages, because there was a lot of like photography feature pages, like pursuit of portraits, game of tones, different like pages like that, and I would like tag them, and some of them sometimes would repost me, and that would give me even more followers.
Yeah. Is there anything else? I know you talked about kind of collaborating with influencers and stuff. Like, who did you kind of collaborate with?
So I think the first bigger influencer that I did a collaboration with was Joey Kidney. So I met, it was really random. So one of my friends actually shot with Joey, and then I saw his picture, and I like the photo was nice. So I clicked on his account, and I saw that he had like 40,000 at the time followers on IG. And I was like, it says Ottawa, and at the time I was really like oblivious when it came to like who was an influencer in Ottawa, and like who in Ottawa was known, you know. And I was like, someone in Ottawa that has 40K, and I didn't know that, you know. And then I looked at some of his content, and then I saw some of his photos, and I saw a YouTube link, and I saw his YouTube channel. I'm like, okay, he makes YouTube videos. And I saw a couple of his videos, and okay, these are nice, you know. So I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, you know, do you want to shoot? And then he was like, yeah, cool. I'll be back in the city in a week, and then we can shoot. And then from there, we started shooting. The first post I did from his photos got like, I think like almost 1,000. I think around 1,000 likes, and that's the first time I ever hit 1,000. I was like, wow, you know. And then like I got a lot of followers from that, and I was like, okay, you know, shooting with influencers makes a difference, you know. So we shot a couple more times as well, and we were both benefiting from that. You know, he was getting photos, I was getting photos and engagement, you know. And then from there, we just kept on shooting. We don't shoot as much as before, you know, but like it's also because like at this point, like my purpose is not to just shoot to get followers, you know. And then from there, we also grew a friendship, you know. So I think shooting with influencers is one of the best ways as well to grow your channel, your page.
Yeah. There's one photo you did with an influencer that I want to ask you about. I asked Kerbins about this exact same photo. So it's a picture you took of Kerbins on a rooftop behind El Mills without a shirt on. Yes. Like Kerbins. What's the story behind that photo?
Okay, so I was shooting a lot with Joey. And at this point, like we used to like chill as well, you know, often. And then it was around the same, or I think it was about a year later, that I think Elle started popping a bit on YouTube. And then I think she reached out to Joey, and then they started doing videos together. And then he told she would always ask him like, okay, who's this guy that takes your photos, you know? And then he would tell her that's Fitch. And so she wanted to shoot with me. So Joey set it up, and then I was texting back and forth with her, and then we were just going around like what kind of shoot would look good, but also what kind of shoot would represent her as a person, and her personality, and I watched a couple of her videos and all that, and I got a good vibe of like what kind of person she was, and like I just felt like it had to be something really extra, so I was like, okay, what can be really like out there, that would represent more her, and that's where I came up with that, and I needed someone, and I'm like, okay, Kerbins, you been with to the gym lately? It's like, yeah, okay, well, I need you for something, and then from there, we did the shoot, and then we went on Joey's rooftop, and then we took those photos.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was just curious. So I like to ask, this is a new question I've been starting to ask, is who's the most famous person that follows you? Would you say it's Ellie or Al or Joey or?
Wow. When it comes to followers, I think it's L, because L is like 600K around that. So I can't think of anyone else. So yeah, I think it's L. Yeah. She grew so much, like from the time I started with her until now. Like it just keeps on going up.
Yeah, it's crazy. So out of everything you've done, what really worked, and like what would you kind of have said is more of a waste of time when you were trying to grow your account? If anything was a waste of time, or if you think it was all beneficial?
I mean, I think everything was beneficial in the way that like I learned from it, right? Obviously, I think if I started my account first, I would have done things different. For example, I think when I started my account, I used to pay those website that would give like engaging likes and stuff like that, and that for me was a complete waste, because most of those likes were like bots, and they didn't do anything to your photos. They didn't grow your account. It just made it look like you were getting likes, and then I realized that it was hurting my account, and I'm like, okay, no, that's not the right way, but I lost money and time from that, so I think using these, I don't know if some of these work, but you got to be careful with them, because like I think they ruin your account, and you waste money doing these, so
those accounts like liking your photos, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think paying for likes or for comments and all these, I don't know if it works, but for me it didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. Do you notice now though that your engagement is better than it was before when you were buying likes? Or
well, I think I get less likes, and on average, I mean, I like percentage wise compared to like the amount of followers I get less likes, but I think it's more meaningful, because it's actual people that like my stuff and like care about my stuff, and like the same thing for comments, it's people that are like actually like, wow, okay, this photo is really nice, instead of like bots that it's just made to say something,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know anything like about the shadow ban? Because I know that happens to some accounts if they use external apps and stuff with Instagram. That never happened to you or anything?
I heard it happened. I wouldn't know if it happened to me.
Yeah, it's true.
I do know that like I've had a decrease in my like ratio, as well as the amount of followers I gain. But I feel like it also has to do with the way now Instagram does it with the posts, where like it's not chronological anymore, or like it's just about what it's a whole algorithm, So I think because of that, not as many people see my stuff, But beside that, I don't know.
Yeah. And you talk about doing things differently if you were to go back and start it. So what would you do if tomorrow you woke up with no photos and no followers? Like where would you start if you were to start trying to grow it again?
I think first thing I'd do, follow like whoever's kind of like big in my niche audience, and then from there post like every day, like as much as I can. Eventually do collaborations, maybe even pay some influencers that are again in my same niche audience, because that's another mistake I did when I think I was at about 10 or 12K. I did a giveaway, but I didn't do it. I did it with other influencers, but that their audience wasn't the same as mine. They were like fitness models and like different, like a whole bunch of different things, So when I did that giveaway, I gained like 3,000 followers. But like even till now, I'm losing some of those followers because they're not really interested in my photography, because that's not even really what I'm interested in, So I think if you do those, those giveaways, make sure that like you're doing it with people or influencers that like their audience is the same as yours, so that you can retain those, doing promos, and then but just consistency as well, like posting every day, checking when your followers are going to be on, and then that's when you post, using the Instagram statistics. I think that helps as well.
Yeah. So why post every day? What's the benefit behind daily?
Well, I think the more you post, the more people see you, right? So if more people see you, then there's more chances that you can get followers and grow from that, right? As if you barely ever post, you're not going to be seen as much. I also feel like I don't know if that's what it is, but I feel like it would also change for like Instagram. I feel like Instagram, seeing you post more and like you're getting engaged, then maybe some of your posts will go on the discovery page, more often and all of that, So I think and also I feel like there's, for example, I see statistics like engagement in a week, this in a week. I think the more that number grows, then I feel like the more you have chances for the algorithm to have you seen more often as well.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. So when you're doing Instagram and stuff, is there any helpful apps or websites that you use? Like, for example, like UNUM, so you can see your grid when like the next post you're going to make before it's actually on Instagram. Or like another example someone gave, they do some outdoor photography, so it's called PhotoPill. So it's like it tells you where the Milky Way and the sun's going to rise and like stuff like that. So is there any helpful apps that you use, whether it be for photography or Instagram or?
I used to use Vesco when I started to edit my photos, and then I moved on to like Photoshop in Lightroom. I also used to use this app that would tell me how many followers I gained. That was before like Instagram had the statistics and everything. So there was this app that would tell me how many followers I gained, how many likes I averaged for photos, which photos work better. Also, who's unfollowing me, who blocked me as well, and all these things. So,
do you know what that app was called? Yeah,
it was like Follower or something, like Follower Plus or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sorry, just one more thing. Back to with the buying the followers. Is that an app that you use to do that, or is it a website? Okay,
yeah,
that's fair. Yeah. With posting not every day anymore, you're kind of just sporadic. Whenever you said you have a good photo, is there a time of the day that you kind of aim to post for, or just whenever?
Now it's like whenever I feel like posting. If I like, it's like I feel like one of the things too is because like I'm also like really like patient, so like when I have something I just want to share it, so when I'm done editing a photo and I'm like, oh my god, this is beautiful, it could be like 1 a.m. like, you know what?
Yeah.
Before I used to like be like, okay, so between 7 and 9 p.m. that's where like my followers are there on Instagram, and I'm gonna post it at 7, and I will like really just be like, okay, 7 posting, and also I also used to have these DM groups. Basically, it's like a bunch of people, like 10, 15 people, and then you all in the same DM group, and then you would DM them a photo, and you would tell them to go comment on that photo. And then when they do it, you do it for them, so that that you would get actual people commenting on your stuff, and you can at least secure like 5, 10, 15 of comments, and that could help too with your picture getting more reach and engagement.
Yeah. So how did you find that group? Like, how'd you get into it?
One of my friends told me about it, because like I started seeing that like his engagement just like went from like 0 to 100, and I was like, wow, how did that happen? He told me, hey man, engagement groups, like you didn't know it, but no, I didn't. So he added me to one, and then from there I just did some research, and I added myself to like a couple others. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool though. So just kind of just reaching out to people and just kind of word of mouth, finding those engagement groups. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, some of them are like if you do some research on like Google, like YouTube, you'll find some of them. I made one called Photographers. So just like me and a bunch of other photographers, and then we'll just comment on each other's stuff. I think there's pages that have like some groups in them, but you have to be added to them. So you can't really like look for them. Someone has to add you. So that's the only thing about it.
That's fair. So with your content, what would you say your most engaged content is for when you're making posts?
I think it'd be honestly, it's really hard to tell because I can post a picture of like myself and get like 1,000 likes and like 35 comments. And I post another picture of myself later on and I get like 600 likes and like 10 comments, So it's really tough to tell. I know there's a couple faces and people that like, I think my followers like when I shoot with them. One of them is my friend Yasmin. Every time I post a photo of Yasmin, I get like 1,000 likes, like 50 comments and like 55 saves, So I think some faces that they like as well. But I wouldn't say that there's like a specific style that they're like, oh my God. I think they're just like a really good photo.
Yeah. So one new thing I want to try with the podcast is like a specific post breakdown. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of going to walk through your posting process a little bit. So we'll start with like the photo. So what would make you want to post a photo on your Instagram?
So when it comes to like just a photo that I want to post, not because I'm like collaborating with a brand, but just because I want to post a photo, I'd say I look at it. I don't know, like I feel like it's really weird when it comes to like what makes a good photo. I could tell you like okay, yeah, like the composition, all these things, but like there's more to it they just can't really like say that like, okay, this photo just is a good photo, and then when I see that photo, I'm like, okay, yeah, this photo deserves to be posted, and then okay, I'm gonna post that one. But like to say that like there's a process to it, because like I just look at it, I'm like, wow, that's a good photo, and I feel like I should post this one, but there's not really like settings and parameters when it comes to like what makes a photo postable, Yeah.
So when you have your photo, then what do you like with captions? Do you do long captions or short captions? What do you usually go for?
Whatever I'm inspired to do when I see the photo, sometimes it's no caption. Sometimes I see the photo, I'm like, okay, like the caption is like, it just has to come to me. I feel like if it's forced, then it just shouldn't be a caption. So I just look at it and I'm like, okay, and then I just write the caption. And then if I don't think of anything, then I just don't put a caption.
Yeah. And then with hashtags, do you put them in your caption or you put them in the comments usually?
In the caption.
Yeah.
So I just do like 5 dots and then I just put the hashtags.
Use a certain amount. Like I've heard people talk about different amounts of hashtags. Like I've heard 11 is a sweet spot, but I've heard like you should use all 30. Like what do you usually use?
I usually use close to all 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any like specific hashtags you always use, like go-tos?
Yeah. So I have like in my notes, I don't know if I still have it, but I used to have like a whole like note section for hashtags. And I know that I used to have like, okay, this is hashtag for portraits, this is hashtag for this is hashtag for that. They were already set up, so when I just want to post, I just copy it and paste the hashtags.
That's fair. And then tags on the photo, you said you do that a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Do you still do that a lot?
Not as often.
No.
But back then I used to use like all 20, tag all the feature pages that I could, and then just hope they did the repost.
Yeah. And then for location, do you always use Ottawa or do you use other?
Well, if I usually use the location of where it was shot, so if it was shot in Ottawa, then Ottawa, if it was shot in LA, then LA,
Yeah. So posting process from start to finish, like from the time you take a photo to the time you post it, like how long does it take to upload it to Instagram and everything? Like
it can take from like 5 to like 30 minutes. Like sometimes I go there and then like I edit it on my computer, and then when it gets into my phone, it just looks a bit different. I'm like, okay, no, I gotta go back on my computer, and then I edit it a bit more. I come back to my phone. Okay, that's good. And I go on Instagram. Then there's the whole like cropping thing, because like the photo itself, even if it's because like there's different like sizing on Instagram. Even the bigger size is still a crop from the photos. It's like, how much do I crop, or do I have it to a square? You know, how much do I want the people to see, as well as like even if it's like a full photo, when you see it on the discovery, it's gonna be a crop. So I gotta adjust to like where do I want it to be cropped, you know? So this whole part takes a bit of time, and then from there I gotta think of a caption, you know. Think of a caption, I use it, I write it, then I go to the hashtags, I copy the hashtags, and then from there, depending on what kind of photo it is, the pages I want to tag as well.
Yeah, that's fair. So when you're saying like when you edit a photo on like your computer on Lightroom and then you put it on your phone, does the edit look a little different? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sometimes it looks a bit brighter, or sometimes a bit darker, and sometimes just a little bit, you know, not that noticeable. But for me, if it's too noticeable, then I go change it.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I've had the same issue, and I was just wondering if that was like a problem with my computer or something.
No, I think it has to do with the screen. So the color, I think the color scheme on like your screen is different from on the screen from your computer. It might be different from the one on your phone. So because of that, the colors look a bit different on your phone. Yeah.
So how often do you go out to shoot photos with just the intention of getting it just for fun or for Instagram? Like, because I know you said you had like 12 gigs so far this month. Like, so how often do you get out to shoot just for yourself?
Not often. Like back before, I used to do it like almost like 2 to 3 times a week. Now it's maybe like once a month, maybe less. You know, like I went yesterday because I have one of my friend that came from China to shoot. So we connected like on social media before. We hadn't actually met before, and he's from Ottawa, but he lives in China now. And then he's like, "Hey man, I'm coming to the city, you know, let's explore, shoot." And I hadn't done that since so long. I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it," you know. And it was fun. It was really fun, you know. But I don't get to do it as often as I used to. Yeah.
Do you miss doing it often?
I really do, like, cause like it's just different when like you don't have a deadline, you don't have to shoot something according to what the client tells you. Just go out and just shoot and just explore, you know. I love doing it when I travel. I think traveling is just the best thing when it comes to photography. Like you just go somewhere that's just completely different, and it's just like it opens your eyes, because like when you think about it, because we've been so accustomed to being in Ottawa, a lot of things for us become basic and become regular, you know? That's why some people, when tourists, when they come to Ottawa and they see something, they're like, "Oh my God, this is beautiful." And then we could pass by and be like, "Yeah, this is Ottawa," you know? But that's the same thing when I travel, you know? Like some places in the city that for some people is just normal. I see it, I'm like, wow, that's a photo shoot right there, you know? And I think it opens my mind to like so much. So when I travel, I love just going out there and doing some collabs, or just like exploring, you know. Like I'd say when I travel, I'm probably in the hotel room for like 5 hours, and that's when I sleep, and that's it, you know. Besides that, I just go out there and explore.
Do you travel often?
I'd say probably like 5-6 cities every year, you know. Sometimes if I have a work, for example in Toronto or something like that, you know, I'd go, and then if I want to make connections, sometimes I go to New York or like Los Angeles, you know. So it also depends on like work, or if it's just for me for fun.
Yeah. You talked about not having a deadline. So how long, when you go out to shoot, like how long are you out shooting for when it's just for yourself, and how many photos do you take? And then in the end of that, how many photos make it to Instagram in the end?
I think I'm one to shoot a lot of photos. Like everyone tells me this all the time. It's like, yo, like why do you have to take so many photos in one shoot, you know? I feel like I have to take as much as I can so that I don't miss a moment, you know? So when I go to shoot out there to just create, I take a lot of photos. And then when it comes to editing, I cut it down to like maybe like 10, 15. and then there's probably like 3 that I'm gonna post, you know. So yeah.
And when you're going out to shoot with models, how do you usually get models for your photos?
Well, at first it was a lot of like reaching out to people and or like asking friends if they had friends that would model. These days, I usually get models that hit me up all the time, so I just reply to one of them. But I also have like, do you know how you can make like collections with your saves on your Instagram? So I do that with models. So I have like for example, like if I'm in Ottawa, I already have like save posts like all the Ottawa models that I want to shoot with, you know, like Toronto, and I have like save posts of the Toronto models, LA, New York, and then I just look through it. I'm like, okay, I want to shoot with her. I message them. Most of the time, they reply pretty quickly. Some of them, depending on how like notorious or how known they are, they might send me to the agency, or like they might take longer, or like ask me to email them, you know, some things like that, you know. But most of them just reply to me like right off the bat.
Yeah. So when you're coordinating with the models, like, do you have a location already, and then do you coordinate outfits with them beforehand, or how does that usually work?
Usually, yeah. I rarely just go and be like, hey, let's just figure it out, you know. No, usually what happens is that like I see somewhere, I have a vision in mind, and then I message the model and tell them, okay, we have something that's close to this in terms of outfit. I use Pinterest a lot. I have like all those mood boards on Pinterest, and I send them the mood board, and I'm like, okay, do you have an outfit that's close to this? You know, if they do, they send it to me, they show me their outfit, and then from there we do. If they really don't, and I do that rarely, then I go somewhere and I just buy something for the model to wear for that shoot.
Mm-hmm. Do you usually, when you shoot with the models, do you only ever post one photo from that shoot, or will you reuse multiple photos?
So the thing is, like, I personally, I would want to post like 5, 6, 7 photos, but at a point it becomes redundant, and then like it's just too many photos of the same person. You're gonna start getting less likes, right? So I give myself a limit of 3.
Do you also have a second Instagram account?
I do.
So that was your original Instagram, right? Or no?
Actually, like the Architxct was, well, I mean, it was something else before, but like that was my first personal Instagram. Yeah. And then at some point I was like, I don't know, I just want an Instagram for myself where I can just post selfies, you know, and stuff like that, and just like follow as many people as I want, you know. And that's where I created I'm Fitch, you know. And from there, I posted like selfies, posted some of my own photos, just myself, you know. Now it's also been like my YouTube Instagram as well, because like my YouTube is also the same name, I'm Fitch, so it serves a bit for both. But
yeah. So because you're almost at 10K on that one too.
Yeah. So for that one though, I'm actually using my friend's company. He has a Instagram or like social media growth business, and he's using this account and he's growing it out, you know. I really don't know the specifics of like how he's doing it and everything, but I know it's working.
Yeah. That's sweet. And so you mentioned your YouTube account. Mm-hmm. So what's kind of your intentions behind your YouTube? Because you're sitting about, I think, 2.7 thousand subscribers. So what do you do with your YouTube?
Right. So it's a lot of things. At first, when I started my YouTube channel, I think it was in January 2017. When I started it, it was mostly to become an extension of my photography. So I wanted to be like me talking about like, you know, how to become a good photographer, you know, things you should do as a newbie, you know, and behind the scenes of like my daily life as a photographer, right? So I started that. I dropped a recap, a 2016 recap of my year in 2016, and then I did my first like vlog of like a week as a photographer, and the engagement was super low. Not a lot of people were liking, and not a lot of people were watching it, you know, and I think that affected me. I think it kind of like made me think maybe, you know, people don't really care about that, or they don't want to watch that. So I stopped posting for a good, I think I had like 25, 30 subscribers at the time. I started posting for like a good 4 or 5 months until my trip, the travel that I did in the States in 2017 with Herbans. We went to like I think 6 or 7 different cities, and then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should vlog that. So I decided to vlog the whole trip. I vlogged the first 15 days. So every day I wanted to post a vlog. So one vlog for every day. So I did that. Again, I think I didn't get engagement, but also that I think that's also because like realizing it right now, like I didn't really know how to like communicate well on YouTube. Like when it comes to me as a person, I used to be a really shy person. Like before photography, I didn't talk to anyone. A really introvert person. You know, and like photography actually like helped me like break out of my shell, like meeting a lot of people, talking to a lot of people. I was forced to like talk to my models when I was shooting with them and all that, you know. So because of that, I had to gain that communication skills that I didn't have, you know. But YouTube was different, because like it was even further than that, you know. I had to like my face had to be out there and like showing my face and like talking to on the camera, and like vlogging in public is really awkward, you know, and I don't think I was ready for that at that point. So because of that, my vlogs, this whole series of vlog wasn't that good. I think if right now I was to do that part, it would have been much better. But it wasn't really good, and people didn't really like it. So again, I didn't post for like 2 months. I was like, what should I do? You know, I went to Toronto. I posted a couple of vlogs of that, but still same thing. So towards like the end of the year, I started like getting a bit more knowledgeable about YouTube. Talked to some of my YouTuber friends. I met other YouTubers. And that's when I discovered like there were actually like even bigger YouTubers in Ottawa that I didn't know. Like one of my friends, Guy, was friend of like a lot of like bigger YouTubers in Ottawa that had done a lot of successful like things. Like he had like David Parody and like Wolfie, and like I didn't even know these guys were from Ottawa, right? And then he would tell me, you know, look at these guys' channel and what they do and all that, you know. And I was like, well, okay, yeah, I see how it is. But the thing is that it wasn't really my thing, right? But I was like, you know what? Okay, sure, I'll do it. So I started doing more like vlogs, but that were more like, I wouldn't say like, it was really like fast paced, really like fast cuts, being really, really extra, like screaming and all that, you know. And I started doing challenges, pranks. I did a reaction video. That reaction video got me like I think like 200,000 views. So from there, from December to like March, my account went from 70 subscribers to 1,000. You know, so I was like, okay, that's what's working. You know, and I kept on doing it. But then I was like, it is working, but do I like it? You know, so that's where I was like, if I keep on doing that, yes, I'm going to grow, but I'm going to be miserable, you know? And that's one of the things that affects a lot of YouTubers that I talked about. And they say that, like, if you don't like it, yes, you're going to make some money, but, like, at a point, you just won't be able to do it anymore, and you're just going to be drained, you know? Like, you're just going to, like mentally, it's not good for your health, right? So I was like, do I do this and just grow as a YouTuber, or do I stop and try to figure out what I like and just do what I like, even if it's going to be slower, but I'm going to like it, you know? So I took a break, and then now I'm like figuring out what I like and what I want to do. So when it comes to that, I think I want to get more into like doing shorts, like films or in like short skits, like comedy skits, you know. I think these is what I want to get into. I had a project that I worked on with some friends. It was supposed to be the pilot for like a small like show that was trying to do, and even though it was a huge flop, I learned so much about it, and I realized how much I love that, like just like directing and like you know, having a crew and working on a project for that, and I felt, I was like, wow, like it's the first time I really felt like I liked something since like photography, you know, and I was like, wow, like this is really, really cool, you know. And then from there, like I've just been learning about videography and filmmaking, and just like how to like handle a camera, like sound, like all of these lighting, all these things that come into it, you know. So I think starting next year, I'm still working on it, but I got a lot of projects that I'm working on when it comes to like doing shorts and like comedy skits, and like even like working eventually on like a feature would be cool. So that's, I think, when it comes to YouTube, that's where I want to get into. Yeah.
Before we move on from YouTube, did you say you had a video with like 200,000+ views?
Yes.
What was that like? How did that kind of blow up? Like, what was that like?
Okay, so one of my friends introduced me to K-pop. K-pop is Korean pop. And he told me that like the fans of K-pop were like the craziest fans you can have. Like they're gonna, anything that's K-pop, they're gonna watch, you know? And he told me about this group called BTS and a reaction that he did from BTS, and in a week he got 10,000 views. And I was like, wow, that's crazy, you know? Maybe I should do it, you know? So I sat down with Kerbins and my friend Emmanuel, and we did a reaction video to one of BTS's song, and then it just skyrocketed. Like, it was insane. Like, I didn't even, like, I was like, wow, how? I was like, it was just crazy. Like, I was like, okay, you know, reaction videos are insane. But at the same time, I was like, who are they like liking? You know, is it me or is it the BTS group that I'm reacting to? And that's when I realized that, like, when I started posting other stuff and I wouldn't get engagement from that. And I was like, okay, so they're not subscribing or liking for me, but for that, you know, because when I would do another BTS reaction video, I'd get more views, you know? So then I was like, okay, do I just want to be a BTS reaction channel or just want to be myself, you know? I want people to like me for me. So I stopped doing like reaction videos from that. Yeah. But I'm still getting views right now from it. Like, it's crazy.
That's wild. So I also want to talk about Facebook and Twitter. Mm-hmm. You don't use them as much. Like, what's kind of like your plan with those two platforms?
I use Twitter. I use Twitter a lot, but I don't market it as, because like it's just me just saying stupid stuff on Twitter. Like, if you look at my Twitter, like, okay, who is this guy? You know. So I don't really use it to market my photography. It's just me like speaking out loud, like saying like you know, like speaking my mind, you know, just saying what I want and just like making jokes, you know. I got like 580 followers on Twitter. I've actually like lately been gaining a lot on Twitter because I post so much on Twitter, but it's not really related to my photography. It's just me. When it comes to Facebook, I honestly don't really know what to do on my Facebook page. Like, I know you can get clients from Facebook because I know like people do it. I know Will told me he's done a bit of advertisement through Facebook, but I just didn't take time to get into it. You know, I think maybe eventually I'll just sit down, learn about how to use Facebook to grow myself as a brand. But as of right now, I just have the page there. Yeah.
That's fair. And then the other one I wanted to talk about was Snapchat, because I know you've promoted your Snapchat in different spots. I think it's a highlight on your Instagram. Yeah. Do you still use Snapchat a lot?
I used to before Instagram just copied Snapchat. I used to post like any behind the scenes of my photo shoots of like my life, or just anything. I used to post it on Snapchat. Now I don't post it as often, but like when I do something cool, you know, or if I go somewhere and I see something that's interesting visually or anything, I'll post that on Snapchat, you know, like, so, but I also would post some of it on my IG story. So the things that are a lot of people going to go to my Snapchat, I don't know, you know, but one of the reasons why I still want to promote it is because I want to diversify my following so that I have following from like all different platforms, you know? So yeah.
That's fair. So I got a couple of big questions and then we'll do a Q&A before we end. What do you hope people take away from your
I want them to really be inspired to do something like me or to do more than me, you know? Like, I want them to look at what I'm doing and be like, wow, that's beautiful. And like, I want to do something similar, or like this is someone that's just working on his craft and working really hard, and like, okay, I want to work hard on my craft as well, you know. Also, like being in Ottawa, in a city that's like, it's not really like it's not really promoting arts like other cities like Toronto, or I want people to be like, okay, if he can do it in Ottawa, like I can do it as well. If that person's not even in Ottawa, like in a small town, like yeah, I can do it there too. So I just want my stuff to inspire other people. Yeah.
Awesome. So what's next? What's next for you?
That is a good question, because I don't even think I can personally answer that, because there's so many things that are going on right now. Like there's wedding photography that I want to take to another level, where I want to actually be, because like it's a really lucrative business if you do it properly. It takes time, but like it's easy, like when it comes to getting clients, because everyone's getting married, and then like if you do it right, it's a good way to make some money on the side just in the summer, right? Then there's photography, obviously, just working with other brands, working with bigger brands, branching out to Toronto, Montreal. Then there's the YouTube channel, working with other people because like right now I'm going to be working with other people that want to do YouTube, that want to do film as well. Just learning more about that, writing. I've been writing a lot of like short films. Like I have like 5-6 scripts ready to be shot, but just getting into it, learning more about it, so there's that. Also doing marketing for businesses as well. Because I realized that like a lot of like big businesses in Ottawa, they're ran by like 50, 60-year-old mans that don't really, know anything about social media, right? So I'm like, okay, I've been on social media long enough to know something about that, so I could manage that for them, right? So using that skill to have another stream of revenue to do social media marketing for businesses as well. So I think right now I just want to see where it goes. I don't think I have a definite like, okay, this is where I want to see things. I mean, I do in a sense, because I want to see my photography, making me this amount of money. Like let's say I want my YouTube channel to be at this amount of subscribers and stuff like that. But like I still want to see where it's going to lead me. I can't tell you that like in 5 years I'm going to be in Ottawa shooting this. Actually, I want to move out actually eventually. I gave myself 4 years max, and then at either worst case scenario, I told myself I'm going to be in Toronto. Best case scenario, I'm going to be in Los Angeles. It's a bit complicated for the States because like you have to get a working visa and all this, so it's a long process. But best case scenario, I'll be out there.
Yeah. So I was going to ask if there's any big goals you're striving for, but would you say LA is kind of the big long-term goal you're chasing?
I think it's the first step toward the big goal, I think, because like, I don't want to see myself like 10 years, 15 years from now, just again, like going after people like for photo shoots, I want to be like a casual photographer where like, I just do like 4 or 5 big shoots in a year, and that's enough for me to sustain myself, and just really work as a creative director with like big brands like Adidas, Nike, Apple, working on making commercials and stuff like that, even making a couple of YouTube videos for like big artists, stuff like that, I think is where I want to be at.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you got time for just a quick Q&A?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, man. All right, so we'll start with the first one. What's a show that you're binging on Netflix or Hulu, Amazon Prime, whatever you watch on?
Okay. So I watched a lot of TV. Like I think that's a lot is an understatement. I watch too much TV. So okay. So when it comes to comedy, I'm watching The Office. I'm watching Parks and Recreations. I'm watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm watching Psych. What's that show that I'm watching with Aziz Ansari? I can't remember it, but yeah, I'm watching that. Drama. I'm watching Power. I'm watching. I finished Game of Thrones. I'm watching Lost. I'm rewatching Lost actually because I already watched it. Prison Break. Like I'm watching so many things. Like I'm telling you, like it's. Sometimes I have to tell myself, okay, Fitch, you have other things to do. You know, you shouldn't be watching all these shows because like I just love watching TV. Like even movies as well. I just love it. So yeah.
What's your favorite app that's not Instagram, Facebook, Twitter?
I think it's Pinterest.
Pinterest, yeah.
Pinterest has like so many like ideas for you. Like you just go out there and browse, and you just get inspired. Like I just go through it, the app, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Boom, 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 and it makes me think of something else that I can do for a shoot. You know, so I think Pinterest is probably the number one, and then I'd say YouTube comes seconds. But not just for my YouTube personally, but just like as a learning platform. Like you learn so much from YouTube. People don't even realize that. Like YouTube is literally like university. You know, like you like anything I need to learn and I can't find it anywhere. I just go on YouTube and it's there. You know, like anything. You know, so it's like one of the best learning platforms that exists.
Mm-hmm. Are there any YouTubers that you'd recommend people watch?
Well, that depends on like what they want to do, right? I think when it comes to like photography, Jessica Kobasi does a lot of like good editing on portraits and photography. When it comes to photography tips, there's also Peter McKinnon, and also reviews a bit of like photography gear. When it comes to like filmmaking, you have like people like Film Wyatt, D. Darius, and Filmmaker IQ. You also have people that review equipment like MKBHD, and then I'm trying to think if I can think of anyone else. There's I can think of anything.
Yeah. Are there any Instagram? Like, who are your favorite people to follow on Instagram?
Oh.
Yeah, of course, man. Absolutely.
Okay. I'd say when it comes to portrait photography alone, I think for me, like the best portrait photographer I see out there is Alessio Albi. He has like 400K on Instagram, but he's like amazing. Like his photography is just, for me, it's just like beyond. Like he not just the imagery, but like the concepts behind it, the creativity is just it's just crazy. You know, when it comes to like more like urban stuff and more street fashion and really like thinking outside of the box, I think Creations of LA is another one. Like, and this guy is from Ottawa actually. He
really,
yeah, he's from Ottawa and he branched out. I remember when I started photography, I used to see his stuff and I was like, wow, this guy is just amazing, you know. But yeah, he was first in Ottawa. And his stuff is just amazing. I see some of his, it's just that like, again, thinking outside the box, doing something different, you know, we're like, wow, like he doing something like this, you know, it's like, okay,
yeah,
just where did all that thought can come from, you know? I think, and then when it comes to like, where's this other guy's name? I can't remember his name. I had a list before of like each photographer per like different like style of photography. But if not, then I just go on pages, you know, like minimalistic movement or like pursuit of portraits, games of tones, like where they just repost of the photographers, and then from there I just go and look at their stuff, and it's just amazing stuff. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Just for inspiration. Yeah.
What music are you listening to right now?
I listen to a lot of music too. Like honestly, like, and like if you go on my phone, you're gonna see like anything from like old blues to like rap, like mumble rapping, you know. So it's like I listen to a lot of things, you know. I use music as well to inspire me when it comes to either photography or like when I want to like write a script, like also write a story. Like because like when I was younger, I used to do that. Like I used to write a lot of like short stories, and like I even wrote a couple novels that never got like sent to get published, you know. And I used to use music for that because like music, when you just listen to it, it's just like transport you somewhere else, And I feel like for me to be able to grasp as much as I can, I have to be listening to as many different types of music as I can, So sometimes I'll listen to like some old like Louis Armstrong, and then I'll go and listen to like some on the next one I'll listen to some Drake, So and then some classical music from like Bach or Beethoven, Also from me being a musician, because I do like piano and I do like other instruments, I think I just appreciate music even more for that. So just listen to a lot of different things. Yeah,
that's fair. Any books that you'd recommend?
Okay, I can give all the good ones, but I'd say How to Win Friends and Influence People is a great book that I read. The Power of Habit, again, an amazing book. And then there was another one, I think it was called Eat That Frog. It had to do with procrastination, because I have to deal with that a lot sometimes. Where like sitting in front of a photo, I'm like, I have to edit this, and I just go and like waste my time doing other things, and then I'm like, oh damn, I've edited that photo yet, So there's that one too, and then what's this other one? There's some books that like I read, but I just forgot their titles, There was this one book that I read. It was just a photography book, just like with images and like with like some text, but like beside it, and it was really good for inspiration. But I can't really remember the name of that book. Yeah.
Do you listen to any podcasts at all? Like any?
So I mean, I listen to a lot of like interviews. So like Complex do a lot of interviews with like artists and like successful people, so I really love to like listen to those to see like how they've been, with their whole like journey as like an artist or as a businessman, and see the trials and tribulations they had to go through and all that, and just take as much as I can from them, because like they've done it, they've reached a certain level of maturity, and like I want to just learn from that and see how I can use that and implement it in my life and accomplish what they've done.
Yeah. Any restaurants in Ottawa, like that hidden gem that you'd recommend?
Oh, I'm not a person that goes out. That's one thing. Like, if I don't need to be going out somewhere, I really don't. So like, I I know nothing of like entertainment and just like restaurant, all these things in Ottawa. I really don't. Like, I'm a stay at home guy, just like cook something and then just watch some Netflix, and that's it. Like I rarely go out. The only times I'll go out is like, for example, let's say one of my friends has like an event that he's throwing, or like for example, Amir has his fashion shows, and I'll go out there, say hi, just to support, but beside that, I'm just indoor guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Do you have any consistent morning and night routines?
Let me think of this. I don't think so. Like, I remember during the summer, I used to wake up at like 6 and just from there go to the gym. But that didn't last long. Yeah, again, I gotta. When I was reading from that book, actually, The Power of Habit, it was telling me that like it takes about 21 days for you to set a habit, right? And I didn't read 21 days for that, so nah. Yeah,
that's fair. Do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is?
Sorry?
Do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? So on one of his podcasts, he asked a question. It's called "What are you obsessed with?" Mm-hmm. But it's not like high level. It's like something random. Like I recently bought this new sweater and it's so comfy. I'm obsessed with my new sweater. Like something random that you're obsessed with right now.
You got to think about this. I think turtlenecks. I think I've been buying so many turtlenecks lately, and it's just like I just love them, and I just keep buying them, even though I have 3 different shades of gray of turtlenecks. Like I feel like I just look good in them. I've just been buying a lot of turtlenecks. Yeah.
That's fair. 3 items on your bucket list.
So you're talking about like things, or like
it can be whatever you want. Like, just if you were to pick, like if you had to have 3 things, 3 big things.
Okay. Wow. Wow, just 3. That's okay. I think for a car, I think I'd want to have a. So I told myself the first luxury car I want to get is a Mercedes G65 AMG. The price point is that's up there, you know. But I think if I could just have it right now, yeah, I'd have that car. And then I wouldn't even get it. I'd get a video camera actually. I'd get like a red Scarlet or like a red Dragon or even like a Alexa Mini to just like start shooting like insane visuals. And then a studio. Yes. God. Yes.
Yeah.
Like having my own like big studio.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So you're going to dinner. You can take 3 people. They can be dead or alive. Who are you taking to dinner?
Okay. All right. That's tough. Okay. I gotta think about that one. 3 people. That is crazy. There's so many people out there. Michael Jordan. Tupac. And Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Like, do you have reasons behind those 3, or?
Oh well, Michael Jordan, because of his competitive spirit. Like I just wanted to learn so much about because it's one thing to be great and like just to have natural talent, but it's another thing to just like want to outwork everyone and anything you do. And that's like Michael Jordan's spirit, you know. He always wanted to be better than anyone at anything, you know. Like I remember I was listening to an interview from Will Smith, where like he was telling how like he hated like chilling with Michael Jordan because anything for Michael Jordan was a competition, you know, and like because he just has that spirit or like anything like this, even if it's like drinking water, who can drink it the fastest? Like he wants that competitive drive, you know, and I would want to just like gain that from him. When it comes to Tupac, it's just about consistency and being able to do as much. Because like when you look at his career, like the chunk of his career was like a good like 4 years, you know. And in this amount of time, he did so much in so little time, and it's like, how do you do that? You know, how are you able to do and produce as much good quality of work in such a little time? You know, and then. Eventually, when it comes to like genius and creativity and knowledge, I don't think there's anyone that's like this guy just did anything, you know, like mathematics, theology, philosophy, arts, like anything that could be done, like painting. It's just like any craft, he just take it and just be great at it, you know. I just want to pick his mind and see like what, like how, you know, like what's like I remember I was seeing something. About IQs and they were saying that like he had one of the highest IQs ever, you know, and just want to see like what's your thought process when it comes to like painting something like the Mona Lisa or sculpting something like David, you know, like just see how, you know, and his process of like work, and I think that'd be amazing. Yeah,
that's awesome. What's the best advice you've ever got? And if you can remember from who, but if someone asked me that question, I would never be able to say who gave me the best advice. Like,
God damn, that's best advice. I think one of the best advice I've got that I can think of is from my friend Ken. And he was telling me, it was when I was struggling with my YouTube and everything, and he was like, you don't need to be great to get started, but you need to get started to be great, right? So instead of saying, okay, I'm not good at this, no, it's going to be hard for me to do it, start doing it, and then you'll become good at it. So that really helped me when it came to like just beginning into something that I wasn't good at and I wasn't used to be doing, and knowing and acknowledging that like I will get better at it. So yeah.
That's fair. Okay, so we have 2 questions left. What's something about you people wouldn't expect?
Something about me people wouldn't expect. It's a good question. It's a really, really good question. I really don't. Can I get back to that one?
Yeah. We'll do that one after. So the last one is, what's one thing everybody should know? Not about you, just like in general. What's one thing that you think is so important that everybody needs to know?
I think how to communicate. I think communication is like, it's just how you transmit anything just to anyone. And I think just being a good communicator will bring you in life. Honestly, even if you have 0 skills, if you're good at communicating, you'll be able to go far. If you know how to like be friendly with someone and them like vibing with you on a good level, then you'll just do wonders. I think that's probably like the most important skills for you to have. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, back at the other question.
Yeah, if you can't think of anything, we can totally skip it, man.
No, I want to answer that.
Yeah,
I just gotta think one thing that like people don't expect. That okay.
Do you want some examples of what other people have said to see if that'll spark anything? Yeah. I think Kerbin, if I'm remembering correctly, was that he's nice. Mm-hmm. He says it looks like if he's just sitting there, it might not look like he's approachable, but if you get to talk to him, he's nice. Someone said he's a twin. What have other people said? I'm trying to remember. Those are the 2 that come to mind just offhand, but it can really be any. Oh, someone they're allergic to fruit. Wasn't it like just? So it can be random. It can be anything.
I think. Wow. Boy, should I think about this one? Those are really, really. It's just like like I'm trying to think. Is like okay. I feel like that's something people know. Really, really good question. People don't. I think I'd say I'm lazy.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it's really, really, really tough for me to actually get out of my way to do something. I have to put so much effort into it. I think people would see me doing all these things, those photo shooting and all that. I'm like, yeah, this guy just has a driven mentality and just wants to go out there and do things. But it takes me a lot of like strength to like sometimes like literally like my bedroom is in the second floor of the house, and then my workspace in the basement. And sometimes I'm that lazy that like I just don't want to go down, and I just will stay in my bed in my bedroom just because it's just for me too far. So like I think that's one thing that like people wouldn't expect about like how lazy I am. Yeah, I'd say that.
That's fair. Well, I want to give you the floor, man. Where can the people find you? Like, plug everything you got, man.
So you can reach me on Instagram at the Architxct with an X instead of the E. Yeah. Or I'm Fitch. That's my personal IG. My YouTube channel, I'm Fitch as well. I have another YouTube channel that's gonna be dropping soon. It's called Studio X. You know, just stay put for that. Twitter is Architxct, no D, just Architxct _. Snapchat, the Architxct. You can check my website as well. It's architxct.com. Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. I'll make sure everything's linked in the show notes as well. So everyone, make sure you go and follow Fitch on Instagram. As I said, I'll make sure everything's linked, and definitely go check out his YouTube and watch his new short, The Dispatcher. Yes. If I'm not getting that wrong, it's called The Dispatcher.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I would say it's a funny one, guys. So definitely go and check it out. Thank you everybody for listening. Make sure you go follow Fitch. Again, it's at the .architect, but Architect is is an X instead of the E. But like I said, it'll be linked. So you guys, if you can't find it, I'll help you out. Thank you once again for coming on the show, man.
No problem, man.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk soon.
Cool.
Thank you once again for listening to this episode of My Social Life. Guys, please do me a favor and go follow Fitch on social media. He's an awesome photographer, videographer. He's just a great visual artist. He's a super creative guy. And again, his Instagram is The Architxct, but the E in Architect is actually an X. So it's the.architect, ARCHITXCT. You can also follow him on his personal Instagram at I'm Fitch. You can follow him on Twitter at just architect_. Again, that's ARCHITXCT_. And also follow him on YouTube, especially he's got some great stuff in the works there with some short films and everything, guys. He's got a couple on there right now that are really good. I highly recommend you check him out. He's I'm Fitch, which is the same name as his personal Instagram account. And guys, please leave the show a rating and a review. It helps more people find the podcast. I would love to get more people involved in this community that we're growing. I really appreciate it. And also definitely check out the new episodes I'm putting out. I'm doing a second episode during the week now. It's called Takeaways, and I'm going to break down and pull out a couple key points from each and every podcast episode going forward. It's going to be just me kind of talking to you guys for 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. That's something new I'm trying out. I did it last week with the Roland Bast episode, and I'll be doing it this week with the Architxct episode. And yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that, guys. Thank you once again for listening. We'll talk soon.